How's it going, folks? Zach from Uchu Shelf here. Hope you guys are doing good, reading lots of manga. You know the whole intro by now. And if you don't, welcome to the intro. I think I've missed this whole thing like twice now. I only did it twice, but every time I seem to start like a weekly series, I always give up pretty quick, but a few people are holding me accountable to this, so can't weasel my way out of this one. In any case, welcome back to another What Did I Read This Week? Cue intro. The actual intro. So the reason I've been skipping out on this is we went to London the week prior, and then I just got lazy. I really have no excuse as to why I skipped out on these. I considered momentarily doing these monthly, but I won't do that either. So if I don't stick to this, it doesn't get done. So I'm gonna stop making excuses for this. I'm gonna get into it. Let's talk about what I've been reading this week. So first up is Omnibus 1 of I Am a Hero by Kengo Hanazawa. Now I am rereading this because I'm trying to justify the stupid amount of money it's going to cost me to get the last 3 volumes. Which, I mean, it's not a stupid amount of money, but that money could go towards other purchases like food, clothes, bills. They're not gonna, though. They're gonna go towards books. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite series. I picked this up on a whim because, I don't know, there was something about the aesthetic of the cover. You got just this really kind of nicely drawn background. You got a character, just a regular old guy in jeans, a hoodie, but he's got a gun. Now, I already knew that guns were, not illegal, but not as predominant as they are in some other countries, getting political, and it kind of caught my eye. So I had heard about this in passing on image boards and message boards and everything. Didn't know what it was about. I went into this completely blind, got halfway through, and those of you who have read this, when he goes to see his girlfriend, and she's sick, blew me away. Straight up just caught me off guard. I mean, there were now that I've been rereading this, I'm like, okay, I'm an idiot for being caught off guard to begin with, because there are hints there leading up to it, but if you're able to go into this blind, definitely do. That's definitely my recommended way of reading this. But basically, for those of you who haven't read it, it follows a kind of down-on-his-luck manga assistant. He's in his 30s, he's tried his hand at kind of publishing his own stuff, but it isn't really working out. You know, he's got a girlfriend, his girlfriend has a successful ex, he's jealous of that. He's a very paranoid and delusional man, he has like hallucinations. He talks to some guy who sits in the toilet at some point. When the shit hits the fan, and you'll see what I mean when you read this, and you know what I mean if you have read this, he's kind of like, yeah, this is all in my head, isn't it? But soon figures out it's not. And it makes it for a very, very good story. One of the things I absolutely love about this is his adherence to the gun laws in Japan. If a zombie apocalypse hits, the last thing I would be worried about is whether I have a bloody gun license, let alone how to legally and properly fire a gun. I'm going to rob whatever gun store is available and fire whatever I can, though realistically, probably not. I'd probably be one of the first ones dead. He wants to retain kind of a sense of normalcy, especially in the midst of what the hell is going on with the world. So he adheres to gun laws in Japan as strictly as possible. There are people who try to take the gun away from him, and he's like, it's my gun, I can't, because that's illegal. There are people who are like, yo, let me try your gun, and he's like, can't do that. It's against the law. Yeah, it's one of my favorite series. Definitely check it out if you haven't. There's also a live-action film, which I believe you can get through Funimation. Don't quote me on that. I know someone has licensed it, for sure. It does a great job at combining the story. I think of the first 3 omnibuses, maybe 4. It just does it all perfectly. And there's one scene in there that was one of my favorites in the manga that they just absolutely smashed. Like, it involves a parking garage, a shit ton of zombies, and the gun. Mwah. So yeah, again, that's Kengo Hanazawa's I Am a Hero. And you can be too, if you pick this up. Next up we have Solanin by Inio Asano. I've been on a bit of a reread kick. I was talking to someone about the epilogue, and how it's a bit different. And I ended up just rereading this. I was thumbing through it looking for a specific part, and next thing I knew I was closing the last page. So it was the first manga to ever make me cry. Very few things make me cry. Because I have a lot of testosterone, I'm a guy, and men don't cry. Is what society tells me. But I read all this, and every time I read this, I have myself a good cry. But this is one of my favorite Inio Asano stories. I know I've been giving a lot of praise to Dead Dead Demons. I give a lot of praise to Goodnight Punpun as well, but there's something about Solanin that, I don't think Inio Asano has been able to replicate since. It is the most well-rounded story. It's his most down-to-earth story. Again, most easily accessible one, because, it doesn't have some of the stuff his other works has. And not that I have experienced this myself, but I have talked to people who have lost partners. That have read Solanin and said that it actually really helped them. It was a great way of working through the trauma of losing someone that you really love and you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with. I even think it's just a great story of just kind of overcoming your own obstacles, because in the beginning, I don't think Mako had a whole lot of passion towards anything, let alone any confidence. But after the kind of shifting point in the manga, if you will, she seems to find a sense of purpose. She has obviously lost a lot. There's been a huge change in her life. But instead of kind of groveling on that for longer than she has to, she manages to take that grief and accomplish something. Now, as much as I praise the manga, I actually think the movie is a hell of a lot better. Not because it does anything different in terms of storytelling or presenting the characters, or, dealing with the tragedy that happens in the manga. It's because the final scene where Mako gets up on stage, sings Solanin, and then when it ends, it's just so emotionally beautiful. It's really well done in the manga, but hearing her actually sing the song, and then the song ending, and seeing everything she's worked up and built up to just come out beautifully, unmatched. It's just, you can't, it's without the music, you can't really experience the emotional rawness that comes with that scene. I think Inio Asano does it very well in the manga to the best of his abilities, but without the actual song, it falls flat a little bit. Yeah, definitely go pick up Inio Asano's Solanin. There is an epilogue. I've mentioned this before. I don't think you really need to buy this unless you, absolutely love this and you want more. Then you can pick this up. I actually don't think this adds anything extra to the story. I think this kind of detracts from it. Because I think Solanin ended perfectly. It didn't need anything else. This was kind of just like so that's, that's what she's been up to. But it's not really required. Now, for those of you who saw my London vlog, you saw that I went around to a whole bunch of comic stores, bookstores, grabbed as much manga as I could possibly carry because I only brought a very small backpack with me. And I picked up volumes 5 through 7 of Golden Kamuy. Now, don't really remember what happened specifically, so I've been rereading through it. I'm now on volume 4 of Golden Kamuy, and I just love these covers. Look at Tsurumi. He's such a badass. He's one of my favorite characters. He's so, off the wall insane. You gotta love him. I only got through season 1 of the anime, and I think, yeah, you know what, it's been so long since I've read or watched Golden Kamuy, I have no idea what's happening. So, I might actually have to read through it again. I picked up volume 4 because I was thumbing through 1 through 3. I was like, oh yeah, that's what happened, and then I got to volume 4, I'm thumbing through, and I'm like, I don't remember a goddamn thing. So, yeah, so reading through this again, if you haven't read Golden Kamuy, it's basically, it's a manga about everything. It's got the gold rush, it's got some war stuff, bears, history lessons, some pretty cool food recipes. Some of the crap that these people make in this manga, I'm like, damn, I'm getting hungry. Now, the reason I'm actually rereading Golden Kamuy is because some people have asked me in both my videos and on streams with Flip Otaku, I'm interested in seinen. What's a good, entryway into the seinen demographic? And I always say Golden Kamuy because it's got something for everybody. And just, I've learned a whole lot of crap about Japanese history, specifically about the Ainu people, that I was vaguely familiar with Ainu people, but after reading this, I did a whole lot of research on it of my own, just because out of my own sheer curiosity. Everything about this series is just perfect. I think this is probably one of the most perfect manga. If you want to ever get someone just into manga in general, recommend them Golden Kamuy. I guarantee you. When they finish this, they'll probably have a shelf about this size. Now, I have spiraled into a bit of degeneracy lately, in that I've started a light novel, guys. I picked up volumes 1 and 2 of 86 because it looked like the least sexually comedic light novel. And I'm not a huge fan of isekai. I like them to some degree, but it's I don't like them enough to pay money for them, if that makes sense. And people have been recommending me 86 for a while, and I'm this far in. You can tell not very far. I don't hate it, but I don't absolutely like it. I don't know if all light novels are written this way, but as someone who's studied writing and has entered writing contests and won writing contests, and came very close to writing professionally, the prose is not that great. And I don't know if that's a fault of the actual author or the translator themselves, but The story is fantastic. I love everything about it. Like, the world building is amazing. The character designs are awesome. But the actual technical aspect of the prose is just not great. And it's really making it a bit of a slog to work through. But I'm getting through it. I kind of put it on the back burner because there's other stuff I want to read. If there's ever an anime adaptation, I'm definitely going to pick that over this, for sure. Now, I can't show you this because I'm filming with my phone, so I'll show you the first volume of the physical. But I've been catching up on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm about 12 chapters out from catching up. I'm just, I think, on the brink of the latest arc, which name of it is not on the tip of my tongue, for sure. A lot to say about Jujutsu Kaisen. Too much to say for this video, but I'm going to kick myself for announcing this now. I'm probably going to start doing weekly reviews of Jujutsu Kaisen. Although I maybe not. I maybe won't. I probably won't. No. Yes? No. Go read Jujutsu Kaisen, guys. Don't listen to me. Next up, Volume 1 of Boku no, which I actually read this morning, and I don't want to get too crude or gross, guys, but I ate a lot of spicy food yesterday. I'll let your imagination fill in the blanks. But the Porcelain Throne allowed me the time to thumb through the pages of this, and by the time my legs fell asleep, I finished it. And we'll just leave it at that. But this is a series that I've wanted to recollect for years. It's one of the series I lost in my original collection. I had all of it, and then I didn't, and then it was stupidly out of print, and I couldn't find it. And then I started finding it, so it, life finds a way. Now, for those of you who don't know what Boku no is about, it's basically about a whole bunch of kids who are on summer vacation. They find a cave near the waterfront, and they go deep inside of it. They find a man living in there with a bunch of computers, and he says, hey, I'm working on a game, do you want to try it out? And they all end up basically contractually obligated to piloting this giant robot called the Zearth, which kind of kicks off a whole bunch of really, really terrible events. So essentially, all these kids have to pilot the Zearth. The Zearth has to fight against other robots that come to basically destroy them. Those other robots are also piloted by groups of kids, and the loser of the fight, basically, all the kids in the robot die, the robot gets destroyed, and the universe that those kids and that robot came from also gets destroyed. So, no pressure. And the kicker is, when you're piloting the Zearth and you win, you die. So, what a fucking terrible game. And lastly, I don't know. I wasn't going to include this because I don't know if it counts as reading, as much as it does tripping on acid in book form. Yeah, what the hell. So it's Yokoyama Yuichi's Outdoors. I showed this off a bit in my London video. I don't even know what to say about this. It is... So there's not really a narrative, and if there is, I don't understand it. There's no dialogue. The art is definitely unique. It's kind of an indie manga, for sure. I'll show you guys a bit of the art. So this is pretty much the gist of it. Let's see another page here. Just a weird page. Yeah. Just, me and the boys going to support the manga industry kind of thing. Yeah, it's, if there is a narrative structure, the best I could piece from it was alien dudes come to Earth, I think, and then they kind of try to understand nature, and then they build a spaceship or a house or something. I really honestly don't know, guys. Like, I think I'm gonna have to make another video on this. I'm so, you can see, like, I'm just so confused by it. Like, I don't know, guys. If you've read this, tell me what the fuck it's about, because... Anyways, folks, thanks for sticking around. That's what I read this week. I have entirely too much energy, right? I want to know what you guys read this week. Let me know what manga you've been reading in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at UchuShelf. You can find a link to that down there. And as always, don't forget to support legal manga. Go to www.wherecanireadmanga.com to get the lowdown on where you guys can read manga for free through a subscription or per volume, and do it all to support the manga industry. Because supporting the manga industry means we get more manga, which, seems like a no-brainer, but apparently I have to keep saying it. And until next time, folks, happy reading.